Hi guys, welcome to the Crown Experience. Thank you for joining us. I am your co-host Keisha Kelly.
And I'm Alita. And we also have a special co-host this episode, Lil Baby. And we're talking about self-care and wellness.
Self-care.
And we know if there's any moms out there, new moms, mothers with children at different ages and stages, that self-care is so important because children at different ages and stages still pull on you and require some type of love, care, and attention. And we're not just going to focus on moms because I think it's just, overall women and societal norms with nurturing and care that we sometimes get lost in the motions.
Doing for others more than ourselves.
Yes, of life. And I know we, as we were talking about this, I thought about a statement former First Lady Michelle Obama said, and it was about taking care of ourselves. And it's just something that we know is necessary for our mental well-being.
Yes, our mental, physical. I remember when I had my first son, I had to be put on medication because with that pregnancy I had preeclampsia, and so I was in the hospital for 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And when they discharged me with the medication, I go to the pharmacy. The pharmacist wanted to speak to me. This black lady, she pulled me to the side and she was like, whatever it is, it's not worth it, because I was put on this high blood pressure medication, and she was looking at my age and everything else that was written on the script, and she's like, no, whatever it's going to take for me to de-stress or lower my blood pressure, do that, because whatever is making it go up is not worth my health or life. I always thought that was good advice.
And stress will manifest in your body in different ways. I remember I was going through a very stressful time in my life, and my eyes started to shut. And it came out of nowhere. And, well, not nowhere, actually. I was able to pinpoint that it was because of stress. And I think we did talk about that in another episode.
In the Fuck It episode.
Yeah, where we have to talk about just...
Yeah. Saying fuck it and just releasing
those things.
Yeah, because it's not worth it. You can't carry everybody's bag.
No. And that's why there's songs like Bag Lady.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hurt yourself. And really, you are going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. That was a good,
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Erykah Badu on
because
that.
sometimes it's not just our own personal baggage, but it's sometimes the baggage of others that we're carrying and internalizing that's, that's hindering us.
Yeah.
And we were going to talk about, today, the art of letting go. The art of
self-care.
Yes.
So, you know what? As you brought up Erykah Badu, that was good. I know this isn't the place to plug it in, but I'm going to plug it in anyway because it's a perfect
I love it. I'm here for
thing.
it.
So, Erykah Badu, she did the 20th edition of this book with the original author, Queen Afua, called Sacred Woman. So it's about mental, it's just about healing the feminine mind, body, and spirit. So it takes you through the different, I forget what they call it, but I am going to join the gateways. There are 11 gateways, and it takes you through all the different ways of healing your tongue, the food you put in your mouth, the way you move your body, space around you, healing your relationships, your union with your partner, sex, sacred time, sacred work, doing what it was intended for you. So I am going to get into the meat and potatoes of that. If natural healing resonates with you, taking things back to Africa and just ancient healing methods and such, I would suggest taking a look at Sacred Woman.
I think something that Keisha said that stood out for me, you said that it was the 20th edition.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the book is evolving because healing is a journey, in a process, and I feel like it's a lifelong thing if you allow it to be. You know, being able to step back and heal and take care of yourself is hard at times, but it's necessary, and it is a lifelong journey. I don't think you ever really stop being able to take those moments to breathe, to reflect, and to nurture ourselves in all aspects of our lives. You know,
really examine your energy and space around you.
That's important. Yeah. You know, I think I mentioned before that there was a time that I was stressed, and it manifested into like stomach issues for me. And it wasn't so much my issues. I was carrying a lot of other people's stuff. Yeah. You know, the eye was internally, that was me when I had the eye issue. But this was more me being there for everybody else and not taking the time for me. I was carrying different things. I was going through stuff in my former marriage. I was helping out other people with things for their lives, and I was neglecting me. I wasn't taking the time to focus on me, because even in like the things with my former marriage, it wasn't so much my issues, it was that person's issues and how they affected me. Yeah. So I was internalizing everybody else's stuff. Yeah. You know? And so it is important to take those moments to step back, to breathe, to analyze, and to focus on self-care.
Yeah. Everybody's not like you, where you're trying to take care of the world. So if you're not taking care of yourself along with the world, you are going to get left by the wayside, and the world is going to move on without you. Right. So.
And then self-care looks different, you know, for everybody. Yeah. As we said, it's individual. Like for me, you know, sometimes it's daily self-care things that we all can adopt. And then there's things like this book. I think going through these different gates would be a good thing. Yes. And if you want to check out that book, please do. And take yourself to that journey. That is a longer process. Yeah. But then there's the day, you know, the daily moments. That's why people do meditation.
Like being able to take a shower.
Yes.
Because somebody lets you go to the bathroom.
And and then figuring out tricks. Like I remember when mine was little, we had this chair. I strapped him in from day one. And I would put him in this anytime I needed to use the restroom. So he knew when I got that chair out, that was my time. So that allowed me to take showers. I mean, from newborn though. And I learned that I put him in that chair from the hospital on, and he would just be still. I give him, you know, and that worked for us. It was that little Fisher-Price bouncy chair. And I was able to sit it in the restroom, you know, right at like the edge of the door, away from the shower though. And I would take my shower, and he would be fine. If I needed to peek out the curtain, I could. But for me, you know,
let me tell you about your friend.
So this is my friend right here, my best friend.
So, we put him in that similar bouncy chair by the pool, not near the edge of the pool, but you know, we have a table sitting area outside by the pool. He's in that bouncy chair, got the music going, got the vibration going, chilling. No, that's not enough movement for him. Somebody decided to topple himself face over because he's strapped in. So the whole thing got to go when he goes. So, yeah, all that shit don't work.
But you know, each kid is different though, too, because mine didn't like the swing. Remember, you tried to put him in. Every time he would get in the swing, he would cry. But it is, like I said, it's finding what works, even as a mother and even as an individual. Like for me, I have a teak bench in my walk-in shower. I love my teak bench. And let me tell you why. Because that bench in the water, something healing about water. You live in water, movement of water is healing. But I sit in there and I can pray, I can think, and be unbothered while I'm in there. And that for me is a daily exercise, you know, for me to decompress, to relax, to deal with whatever, you know, to sort through. And that's necessary, you know. Sometimes it's journaling or
listening to music helps me. It helps to center me, especially when I'm trying to write. So I got the proper soundtrack going for whatever genre or theme that I'm writing. That is very helpful. Cooking allows me to be still. I take my time when I'm cooking. I take longer than I should cutting shit up because it's just a therapeutic experience for me. So, and I think it helps. I guess it goes into the food because people can feel that energy when you're eating.
Absolutely. Food
So-
is, yes, taking the time with food is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. The other day we got pedicures and stuff. I haven't done that in a while since I was pregnant with this one. But
I was gonna say, it's hard to see your toes after a while and get down there.
yeah.
But it's good to take those moments, you know, massages. With I will say the last massage I had to share with my son.
Yeah.
I was in Mexico and my mother decided to share her time with my little cousin. And so my son was like, so what about me? And, you know, of course, being their mom, I was like, okay, can I share some of my time? I gave him like 15 minutes of my massage. It was an hour, so it was fine. But he loved it.
Yeah, my older one, he got a half-hour massage. So his dad sent me to get a pregnancy massage. I forget how big I was, but you know, I had all belly, and I took his brother with me. It was supposed to be something that I went to by myself, and his dad was not happy that I took.
When she told me I wasn't happy either. Let it be known, I was not either.
Granted, I understand why they were not happy with me that I took my son with me, but you know, my munchkins go wherever I go.
And that, moms, if you're a mother, it's also important about utilizing those people around you to help in your need for self-care. I wasn't always good about asking for things sometimes either, so I get it. But when you have, I am there again. But when you have a circle of support that's around you all the time, every day, as Keisha did, then that's who you look to. It's different when you have to create your own community. But it is important to create community as a parent as well.
Yes.
To be able to allow those moments and to also accept those moments, like when people send you massages. I mean, it is hard sometimes. You know, I think if we're just doers and nurturers and go, and just used to just taking care of it on our own, it's hard to jump into the role of letting others in.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, but it is necessary to preserve who you are, you know,
Yes.
so that you can be there for your munchkins properly.
It's very easy to get lost in motherhood,
Yes.
in that role of being a mother and taking care of this other person that came from you and just, you know, wanting to do the best things for them. I am guilty of that. And sometimes I put my needs and my projects and everything else to the back burner. A big reason why I got this Sacred Woman book is because I need to focus on how I can be present in the best way, not only for myself, but for everyone around me.
And Keisha, you're not alone though. I mean, we all do. So you're not alone in it at all. I just think that at different levels.
Yeah.
We're at different levels with it. You know, I get it. I tell people I don't even really remember the first year of my son's life so much because I did 15 hours of labor and then had a C-section. I had to have an emergency C-section. He was stuck. And so just the recovery after labor and then going into a C-section, like it was an experience and I needed to take the time to heal.
Very true.
And I only stayed out for 7 weeks and went back to work. And that was crazy. I thought I was ready, but you know what scared me was those paychecks that kept coming in. My job was actually sending paychecks with zeros on it.
Yeah.
It cost more to print and mail than what I received. And so that was like a level of stress for me, seeing those checks. And so I was like, I gotta get back to work. And, you know, I was like, you know, my husband at the time, he was carrying, you know, everything. And he could have continued, but I just felt like I needed to do my part. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be, you know, I needed to contribute. And I look back now and I'm just like, I needed to heal.
Yeah.
I needed to rest. And I needed to be there for my son more mentally, because I was drained. I went back to working and, as a full-time teacher at the time, it's just, I was spending more time with other people's children than I was with my new baby as I was still trying to heal from
That's real.
a surgery.
Yeah.
C-sections are surgeries.
Major
surgeries. And then, like I said, I had already done 15 hours of labor. I was dilated. They were ready to take and we just couldn't go. So my body had went through a real stress.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the women that do it, Some women I know have gone through a vaginal and then a C-section because they were carrying multiples. So, hats off because the healing in the process is hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a good support team around you and if you're putting out to everybody and you're not leaning on others, it is overwhelming.
Hell, shout out to my mom, because if I did not have her, I don't know where the hell I would be. Because that lady definitely steps out for her children.
She does. And, shout out to Keisha, because Keisha was there in the beginning when I had my baby. She'll be a few months later, but that's okay. To have her baby, but it was okay. With self-care, it's important to also have a team. My parents live states away from where I was, so they are not retired. Keisha was definitely there because my ex went back to work about a week later, and that was it. And shout out to those companies that give dads paternity leave because that is important.
It is.
My brother's company, he has it. And that has been a blessing, right? Or he goes out FMLA, whatever he does. But for his last two kids, he did it with his daughter, and now he's going out with his son once his wife's time is up, and that is a godsend.
Yeah.
So you don't have to start thinking about childcare until they're like 4 or 5 months, and just all types of stuff. But even in that situation, I had to tell his wife. They have someone that comes to our house. Shout out to my aunt who does it with their daughter. I'm like, still use her because they have a about to be 3-year-old and then a newborn. I'm like, do not try to do all this on your own. And I had to tell her because I think that sometimes as women, we try to be superheroes. I'm not your superwoman. Thank you for that song. It's funny because my son was like, Mom, do you want to be a superhero? He asked me that question once. I was like, no, I just want to be the best me that I can be. I don't want to be a superhero, baby. I don't, because that's impossible. I just want to be the best me.
I had my son who's 9, my niece, he's 3, and this one. Oh my God.
I was talking about her during the time.
I am so happy. I do not have 3 children. I don't know how people have more than. That is
shout out
crazy.
to the multiple kids, though. Shout out to them.
That is crazy. More power to you. I
think the ages matter, though, and I think that that's important too, like the spacing out of it. But you know what? We figure it out. Shout out to the people with the multiples. Like honestly,
the people who got multiples at the same time. You remember when that was a trend? Don't bring that shit back. Who's that lady that just had 10 kids?
Well, I don't know. They're saying they're disputing that. It might be a lie, so they're still investigating.
Oh, don't do that ever.
No, but shout out to the women who have done
that. Is unhealthy.
In
many ways.
My former mother-in-law has 10 kids
at the same time, though.
No, not at the same time. And that's what I said. They feel like she wasn't even pregnant. That woman. She may have lied. That's why I said, nah, we're not even gonna. Yeah, they're still investigating that short article.
I told Mom.
Yeah, that chose to have all those embryos implanted, which is fine. And she has, 8 children? It was 8, right?
She had one before, I think.
Yeah, she was. So she had a lot. But, shout out to the women that do it.
Yeah, for the right reasons.
For the right reasons, yes. Absolutely. Like I said, my former mother-in-law had 10 in, a 13-year time period. Like a 13-year span, she had babies. So shout out to the women that do it and learn how to navigate in the world. But she also had help, and she relied on those around her. Thank goodness for the people, and thank you to those that take the time to be support because it's necessary. Thank you for those that like the pharmacists. As you said, will talk to you. Thank you for those that call you out and like, hey, listen. You need to go home. You're stressed.
I guess because I've had so many people around me assisting me and I didn't have to be in the space by myself. There was always somebody around that could take my kids for
an hour or two, or
yeah.
And that makes a difference, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a difference. When I was going through my divorce, I was trying to do school, full-time work, get my house together to sell, and was going through it with different contractors that were not good and flaking out, and then you add in me trying to do that plus everything. It was hard. I had to stop one,
Yeah.
That was me, going for my master's. I had to. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't get it together. I could not get it together. So I was like, listen, the most important thing right now is getting out this house, getting out this marriage, and taking care of my son.
Yes. Part of self-care is recognizing that. Because if you weren't attuned to your body or your needs, then you could have definitely kept on going and then had a breakdown.
Right. And that's real because it does happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think when Nelly was like, I was just waiting because I've been watching you. It's important if you see people in your life that you feel like are looking overwhelmed to step in and say something, to do something, or just be there.
Yeah.
Because your circle of support is so important.
Definitely.
With self-care. It's important to say, this is what I need. To those in your life, those that you trust.
Yeah.
With that too.
Most definitely. If you want to go on the Sacred Woman journey with me, the link is going to be listed at the bottom, so go ahead and check that out. And you can also find Queen Afua on Instagram, YouTube. A lot of people have put up the videos for this book, and she has one other book as well. So definitely check it out if you want to go on that journey. There are many different ways to go on a self-healing, self-actualization, realization journeys. Start with some simple steps. Meditate. Just decompress in whichever way, whether it's watching a movie, reading a book, listening to music, going for a walk, just breathing.
Absolutely.
By yourself in a quiet corner with no children. All of that.
Take the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll see as you do it more that you end up feeling better and that you're able to give even more.
Yeah.
It
makes a difference. So thank you guys for joining us today, and we look forward to interacting with you again next week on another episode of The Crown Experience.
Adjust your crown, ladies.